Is this a new low for Graham Potter's Chelsea, losing to bottom of the table Southampton, Mark?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a disastrous result for Potter. And I know that the owners have said he's safe. Well, you know, in the weeks leading up to it, they said he's safe. But this is a real test, isn't it? You lose at home to the bottom team. And the fans have already started to turn on Potter a little bit. They don't like his football. They don't like his... He's very downbeat. He's not... You know, if you manage a top club like that, you have to talk it up. You have to be very kind of, you know, positive. And he isn't. But I think when you're not scoring the goals like that and you look at the attacking options he's got, it has to be down to him, really, and his tactics and his selection, because they've got some world-class talent. They've got, you know, people like João Felix, Kai Havertz, you know, Mudrik's a good player. They've got Mason Mount. But they're not scoring goals. So there must be a reason for that. And is the coach putting the handbrake on? Players tend to, you know, play to the coach's tactics, even if they disagree with them. But whatever reason, it's not working at Chelsea. And I think that if they kept Thomas Tuchel, they'd be much higher up the table than they are now. Potter's way, this isn't working, is it?
Is he in trouble, Stevie? I know they say he's not, but do you think he is?
Shouldn't he? Well, he is. If you lose to the bottom team, who everybody pretty much has already said is going down, and then you look at what's been going on previous to that, any manager is going to be in trouble. And I agree with Ogden. I don't think the kind of bland way he talks helps him any. You know, even if he was a Conte, you know, Conte's always down. There's always a problem, but at least there's something there to cling on to try and back him up, even to tell him to stop being so miserable. But with Potter, he doesn't help himself engage with the supporters. And so when you're doing this badly, you shouldn't be surprised when they turn against you. So listen, is he in trouble? Yes, he is. But he shouldn't be. You know, I think we said it on the show. You can't throw 20-odd new players at a manager and then expect it just to work. And particularly when you throw at a manager what he doesn't need. You know, he doesn't need any more wide attacking players. He needs a goal scorer, a centre forward who can put the ball in the net. They've been crying out for it. Before they started signing anybody, they've been crying out for it. But yet they go and sign player after player that they already have. So, is he in trouble? Yes, he is. Should he be? No, he shouldn't.
I don't think the players have any kind of fear, or I wouldn't say respect. They probably respect him, but I don't think there's any kind of sense that the players think that he's the boss. I think they feel that he's probably a guy that's been brought in by the owners. And you know, when you look at players and they look at the touchline to a Conte or a Guardiola or a Ten Hag, they know who the boss is, the Klopp. You just know he's in control. With Graham Potter, you look at him, you think, you're not in control. The guy above you is in control. And when you go back into the dressing room after a defeat, I can't imagine Graham Potter peeling the paint off the walls. I'm not saying he should, but you can imagine that the managers I've mentioned doing that and players worried about what the manager does. With Graham Potter, you can imagine the players just shrug their shoulders, think, oh, well, you know, what's he going to say? He's just going to shrug his shoulders and just like say, oh, I'll try better next time, boys, because that seems to be his approach. And that approach doesn't motivate players, not at that level. You know, at
a football club, certainly the top teams and the top clubs, whenever the manager appears round the corner, people like Fergie and Dalglish and others, when they come round the corner, everybody does that. Everybody stands at attention, keeps the trap shut, almost like a naughty schoolboy. That's what happens with the top guys. I'm with Oggy again. I'm going to have to stop doing this, Oggy. I keep agreeing.
Sorry, mate.
I mean,
like a double actor, sorry.
You start talking some rubbish for a change.
No, we'll take it. It doesn't have to be a debate, you know. It's interesting, especially when you're both on the same page with it.
I just don't see that happening when Potter comes round the corner. I think everybody goes, hi, boss, just walks on. Whereas, as I said, the guys like Fergie and Kenny, everybody's like, attention. Yeah, I think that's a problem.
And obviously, it's a different situation for both of them, Mark. But given that you'll be looking at what else is going on in the Premier League, do you think it has hurt him that someone like Erik Ten Hag, we've all seen, has been able to crack that whip and been able to like really establish his authority, that Chelsea's bosses might be looking, going, this is what we need?
Yeah, but I don't know if there's any kind of self-awareness of the Chelsea's bosses, whether they're actually prepared to look at themselves and think that I've made a mistake here. I think there's an element of learning on the job with people like Todd Bowley, and I don't know why you appointed Potter in the first place. For me, there's a kind of a bit of a reminiscence of David Moyes at Man United here. Although David Moyes had earned the job probably more than Graham Potter, that you've got a dressing room full of winners, absolute winners, who know what it takes to win a Champions League, win a World Cup, win a Premier League, and they've not only got a manager who hasn't done any of that, they've got a coaching staff who all came from Brighton. Now, if you're Thiago Silva or you're people like N'Golo Kante or all these big players at Chelsea who've won things, you're looking around thinking, how can this guy make me better? What has he got to say to me? What has his coach got to say to me? So I think the owners at Chelsea have made the big mistake. Not Potter. Potter could never turn this down, but he's just not equipped for the job. It's too big a jump from Brighton to Chelsea. Brighton to West Ham or Brighton to Everton. It's too big a jump. You can't go from a club like Brighton, who's never played in Europe, that sort of thing, to Chelsea. Chelsea are one of the world's biggest clubs, a Champions League winner. The owners made a mistake. Their naivety and lack of experience has cost them this situation.
So it's another 1-0 loss for them. After the 1-0 loss to Dortmund in the Champions League, there was still a sense from many who followed Chelsea that there were a lot of positives still to be taken there, that it wasn't such a bad result in the end, the fact that it had to go away as well there. But this obviously brings them bouncing right back down to earth. Now they've got Tottenham away, then they're at home to Leeds, and then it's that second leg against Dortmund. What does a Champions League exit mean for Potter, Stevie?
It just pushes them closer to the door. That's what it does. I mean, personally, I thought they were a better side than Dortmund. But as we've been saying, they don't have anybody to score a goal. And it doesn't really matter how good you play. If you can't score a goal, you ain't going anywhere. And you certainly ain't beating Dortmund because you're 1 down already. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to play Spurs next, that's for sure. Maybe Leeds might be the game where clearly they're going to have chances because everybody gets chances against Leeds. So I'm sure they don't mind that one, but I'm sure he's not looking forward to Spurs next.
Stevie, can I just ask you a question? Just sure. Quickly, Kate. So he left Aubameyang out of the Champions League squad. Now, he's the only goal scorer he's got in the squad. And I know there have been issues with Aubameyang and can he trust him? But he left Aubameyang out and picked Pulisic, who's not going to be fit till April. So would you have taken Aubameyang just because he can score goals and the fact that at least he's there? He might be a problem, but he's a goal scorer. Or do you think he was right to leave him out and pick a player that isn't going to be fit for 6 weeks?
I think as a coach, it really boils down to a simple fact. If you have got other players who are scoring goals, you can afford to leave a guy like Aubameyang out to make a point to the rest of the team, to prove that you're the boss. All of those reasons. When you cannot buy a goal, you can't, and when you don't have somebody who is a centre forward, sometimes you've got to swallow your pride and you've got to pick the guy. Because as much as Aubameyang can stand around and do nothing for a long period of time, he could get you a goal. And they don't have anybody that looks as though they can get them a goal. So, yeah, absolutely. Putting somebody like Pulisic in who when you play him, you're not playing him because you think he's going to score a goal for you. Put it that way. You're not picking Pulisic to score a goal. You're picking Pulisic to assist and get in behind from the wide areas and set somebody up. So when you don't have anybody to score a goal and you have Aubameyang, whatever you think of him at the time, you got to put him in the squad.
Mark, it sounds like that's something that you both agree on again. You would have put him in the squad too, right?
Oh, no, Stevie's talking nonsense. I just teed him up there No, yeah, I mean, because, they've got 101 wingers and forwards like Pulisic. He's just another shade of grey. So yeah. Aubameyang's different. So you pick him anyway, but just a bad decision.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.